Hello, welcome to this update. So let's see some updates for the severe weather that we had and also the fire danger and some winter stuff in the Rockies. So now we have some red flag warnings in New Mexico, parts of Arizona and Texas, and also in Colorado. Some winter storm warnings in parts of Montana and Wyoming, even winter storm watches southern Utah and spots of south central Wyoming as well. We have some frost advisories near spots of the northeast mid Atlantic and a small freeze warning near northern Virginia and a winter wet advisory in New York. So blizzard warnings the northern coast of Alaska as well. So be careful. Now here's the thing: we have this marginal risk today for severe weather in spots of Texas, in Oklahoma and Kansas, and all the way to Missouri and Iowa and Nebraska. And the next few days there'll be even more. So let's see for today first. So an isolated large hail and strong severe outflow gusts are possible this evening into tonight parts of southern central plains and lower mid Missouri Valley. So for wind the 5% and hail a bigger 5% for hail, and tornado less than 2%. So be aware those areas. A few other storms too. Now for tomorrow, we have this light risk in spots of Iowa and Missouri, and also into Minnesota and Nebraska. So there's this marginal around it from Nebraska to Wisconsin. So we do have a 2% tornado risk tomorrow, and this could be updated. And there's in spots of northern Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa, and Missouri, and southern Minnesota, the tornado risk. So be aware, wind threat of 5%, those areas as well. The main thing here might be hail. There's a 15% hail and hatched spots of Iowa, Minnesota, down into Missouri, spots in Nebraska. So be careful, some larger hail and the hatched for potentially very large hail. So isolated to scared severe storms are possible, mainly from late afternoon Thursday into the evening across parts of the Corn Belt states. Large, very large hail, a couple of tornadoes, and localized damaging wind gusts may occur. So be careful tomorrow, those areas. Day 3 is this very big slight risk, almost like a french fry, and it goes from Texas to Michigan, and a marginal risk even bigger from Texas to Ohio and all the way north to Michigan. So be careful, those areas. There's this 15 and 5% for severe weather chances. Scarce severe storms are possible from the central Great Lakes to the southern Great Plains, mainly during the late afternoon, Friday into Friday night. So be careful, those areas Friday. And for Saturday here, we still have day 4 Saturday, from all the way from Texas to Pennsylvania. So a very big area again Saturday. Be careful, those areas, especially in Texas, Oklahoma, spots of Arkansas, and all the way north to Pennsylvania. So be careful. We also have day 5 here for Sunday across Texas and Illinois, spots of Missouri and Arkansas, and spots of western Kentucky and Tennessee as well, and Mississippi. So be careful Sunday. Still a chance for severe weather. For Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's fine next week, but starting tomorrow until Sunday, be careful. So let's see here. For excessive rain, still nothing. Day 2, just day 3 shows for Friday to Saturday, a slight risk in Oklahoma, Missouri, spots of Kansas and Arkansas for excessive rainfall and a marginal. So be careful. Day 4, a bigger slight risk for Saturday to Sunday from Texas to Illinois, and a marginal from Texas to Ohio. So be careful, some heavier rain there. Day 5, still a marginal, kind of the Midwest into the plains for excessive rainfall. So snow more Montana, Wyoming today, even a finger or two in the northeast. And day two, very high probabilities in Wyoming, spots of southern Montana, Colorado, and Utah. Day three, more snow in Colorado, even spots of Utah and Arizona. So be careful. Day four, Colorado, New Mexico, and day five, still some snow in the northwest, and day six and day seven, the Rockies. So be careful in those areas. Precipitation here, day 1 through 7 shows this area of heavy rain in kind of the plains into the Midwest, from Texas to like Indiana, the heaviest portion, but especially in Oklahoma and Missouri, close to 4 inches, even 4.5, close to 5 inches in a spot or two there next 7 days. So be careful in those areas, and plus in the Rockies, the snow might have some heavier spots there too. So be careful. Day 1 through 3, day 1 through 5, and through 7 increases more. So be careful in those areas. There's here for the Rockies the winter storms severity index, and it's already moderate, spots of Colorado, and minor, and some spots of Utah choose some moderate, and a few major in some higher peaks. But in Wyoming, there's some peaks already to extreme and more major winter storm severity index. So be careful those areas, the snow and everything. So here there's like some hazards too. So shows like day 3 through 7. The orange is all severe weather, and the green is heavy rain and some heavy snow in the blue, and high wind. So be careful those areas there. And here we still have this critical fire danger today in New Mexico and Arizona, those areas there, and elevated as well. Spots of New Mexico, Texas, even Oklahoma Panhandle, spots of Colorado, and this other area further north in Nebraska and Wyoming. So be careful. But day 2 is a different story. There's this extreme fire danger in New Mexico, and major. So major from Arizona to Kansas, and extreme entirely in New Mexico there, and including some big cities like Albuquerque and Santa Fe is in the critical. But please be careful if you're in those areas. And Amarillo is also in the critical, not the areas there in Texas and New Mexico. So please be careful those areas. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it right, but the thing here is, don't burn anything. Please stay safe, and don't do any things that might trigger a fire. So please just be careful, and if there are active fires, stay safe from them. Evacuate if needed. Don't hesitate if ordered to evacuate from a fire. That's very dangerous. So please stay safe, and be careful. There's day 3 and day 4 still critical there, especially in Texas and in New Mexico. Critical all the way to Colorado. So be careful that fire danger. Please stay safe. We still have for week 2 here and week 3 the supercell composite, and still shows very high in the plains in those areas throughout week 2 and week 3. So still expect more severe weather to come. And here does show I don't know if this is updated. Yeah, I think so. The Colorado State University shows like for Friday, day 3, we have that slight risk, and they even have close to 30%, the Colorado State University, the 15, and they even have that 30% even further north, like Missouri to Michigan. And day 4, Saturday, we have that 15%, and they have more like a 15% as well, but they are not very excited for Saturday. It shows a smaller 15%. And Sunday there's that 15%, and they still have around 5 to 15%. Not so excited either. But we'll keep watching. Later by day 7, day 8 still shows a small 5% there in the plains later next week to watch. But the main thing, in my opinion, might be Friday and into Saturday and Sunday. So we'll keep watching this, and if it uh, changes or escalates, we'll make more videos. So here the GFS does show like the 0Z, that snow in the rock is there, and it shows some small spots of ice possible in the mix, but the main thing here, there will be the heavy snow danger, so be careful. And you can see this is Saturday, shows the severe weather, some storms there, and then this goes on Sunday, still shows this area, the mid-south, the plains, those severe storms. So this goes away. The GFS still has later next week some more storms possible, and it has a very crazy system on the 28th, and maybe some more stuff to watch later. But that's too far. So here there's the European. It goes, shows Thursday, tomorrow those storms there, spots of the plains, the Midwest, that's light risk, especially later in the evening there in Iowa, those areas, those big storms with hail and everything. So be careful tomorrow. And then the show the snow in the Rockies, that heavier snow. And Friday shows Friday afternoon or evening, many storms through Texas, Oklahoma, spots in Missouri, and all the way up to Michigan. So please be careful. And this here is already Saturday, shows more storms there. So this goes later Sunday does show more storms. That's the 15% for Sunday. So stay safe. And the European on later Sunday does have a kind of a low pressure cyclone forming, then going there. We'll watch that closely. But still, next Wednesday, the 23rd, it still has some storms in the south to watch. But we'll keep watching. Be careful, those areas. And here there's like for tomorrow, Thursday, some dew points, spots of Missouri and Iowa, those areas. So Thursday, especially later in the evening, some 50s dew points, close to 60s further south. But the main area of the severe weather, like in Iowa and Missouri, late in the evening shows even close to 60s dew points, 50s, 60s. So be aware in those areas. That's high enough for those storms. So here for Friday shows like later Friday evening, this area like the mid-south, all the way to the northern Midwest, shows even 60 dew points in southern Michigan for Saturday evening, some 60s in the south as well, and more spots. So plenty of moisture for those storms, especially in the south. So Sunday still shows this front coming, and this area of a lot of moisture just ahead of it. So we really need to watch this up there. But be careful, those areas. There's Cape here too from the European. So it shows Thursday, tomorrow, especially later in the day. It shows more in southern Iowa in some areas, but central Iowa does show some Cape in Missouri too. So later in the evening still shows some Cape in Kansas and Nebraska. So be careful in those areas. There's the chance for a few tornadoes as well. Then Friday evening shows a lot of Cape in Oklahoma, even more spots in Missouri and Illinois, and some in Michigan and in Texas shows some as well, especially in Oklahoma and Missouri. So Friday, Saturday still shows some more Saturday, but not as much as Friday. But this goes especially Sunday in the south, but more concentrated in the south. Doesn't show that much Cape yet. But we'll keep watching. So be careful, those areas. And there's the snow here. next for 48 hours shows in the Rockies already shows a lot of snow next 2 days in those there, especially in Montana and Wyoming. So be aware, might have some northern Utah, central Utah, and into Colorado as well. But spots of southern Montana shows close to like even 24 inches, 28 inches, some mountains, southern Montana. So stay safe. That snow, be careful. The ice doesn't really show any ice, but you never know. But still fine. So here there's the wind until Thursday tomorrow. Next 24 hours or so shows a higher gust or two in New Hampshire, some breezy in the northeast, but some higher gusts in spots in New Mexico or in Colorado, and spots of Wyoming too, and Montana and Idaho, especially in the mountains. So be aware those areas, and does show here like the temperature is still high today in the south, some areas there, and spots of Texas, Florida, especially, and also close to 90 in Texas and New Mexico. There's the minimum temperatures tonight, still some 20s and 30s in the northeast, but especially in Montana and Idaho, in those areas, some 20s and teens in the mountains. So be careful. There's day two for Thursday, shows even higher, some mid 90s or even to high 90s spots of Texas there, in Oklahoma, some 80s, and some 90s all the way to Kansas. So be careful, some 70s in the southeast, some 80s, and some 70s in a few spots of the west as well. And those show still in the mountains, some teens, 20s there in the mountains, in Montana and Wyoming and Idaho. And then Friday morning shows much colder in the interior parts of the west, some 20s, even the northern plains, North Dakota, and some 30s, and shows like some single digits in the mountains, Wyoming, Montana, some very high spots, might be even close like 1 0 Fahrenheit. So be careful, those mountains shows colder. Nevada, the mountains, California, too, Colorado, and all the way down to New Mexico, so be aware. Still shows Friday afternoon warmer in the south and east, especially in Texas and Florida, and spots of Mississippi, Louisiana, some is Georgia, Alabama. So be aware. Some is as far north as Illinois. Some 70 spots of the west, and very cold in the mountains. Still some 20s and teens in the higher mountains, and shows like here if I can find the right day. Good. So Saturday morning still shows very cold in the mountains, some 20s teens, especially Wyoming, that dark purples like -1 Fahrenheit or something. So be careful. Those are some 20s in the northern plains, and still shows, I don't know why I keep clicking the wrong one. So here still shows some A is close to 90s in the southeast by Saturday in the afternoon, and still cold in Colorado, but warmer in the southwest. Then day 4 shows more cold in the northern plains, in the Rockies, and warmer in the south on Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon much warmer, most of the southwest and southeast, and then Monday morning still colder on the west, in the Rockies, and few spots in the northeast. So stay safe, be aware. In Canada, still pretty cold further north. There in Nunavut, those are especially during the morning, tomorrow, even close to -29. There's this cold spreading through spots of southeastern Canada as well. Some -3 spots of Ontario and Quebec in the south, and northern Ontario even to -18 in Quebec. So be aware, still some active temperatures. Spots of Western Canada, most of Western Canada, except a few spots in the south. So Thursday afternoon does increase a little bit, some milder temperatures in the south and kind of the west, but still this central northern area very cold. Then Friday mornings still cold in southern Quebec and spots of New Brunswick, even Nova Scotia, to 0 degrees, 1 degree, Newfoundland and Labrador, and some areas a little bit better on the west, but Nunavut and Manitoba, Saskatchewan still very cold by Friday morning. And then Friday afternoon on the west, around 21 degrees in Alberta. That's quite good and shows still some negative temperatures central northern areas. And then still by Saturday morning, very cold central Canada. Some spots that are a little bit warmer, but colder in the extreme west again, and spots of northeastern Canada. Then Sunday afternoon, better, milder in the west, but still colder further north. And then Sunday morning, still in southeastern Canada, some negative temperatures except southernmost Alberta, not Alberta, southernmost Ontario, but still further north in other spots of Ontario, Quebec, still some negative temperatures. But beware, and some spots in Nova Scotia, a little bit better, Newfoundland, but still cold in Labrador, and especially northern Yukon, some other spots colder Sunday. Sunday afternoon does get warmer, central Canada potentially, but still colder further north. Monday morning, cold most of Canada, especially Yukon, but most areas negative temperatures except far southern Ontario and a few spots central Canada. Then Tuesday afternoon does warm up a little bit. So be aware those areas, and now does show as some windier conditions near Hudson Bay and Alberta, some spots now, especially in the northeastern US, and some spots in the Atlantic today, Wednesday, by the European. So Thursday, especially like later tonight in New Mexico, spots of Arizona too, northern Mexico, some higher gusts, and still in Alberta, Saskatchewan, some spots there in the northeast. So Thursday does calm down later, but later, Thursday afternoon, the real deal starts happening. So here shows the European later Thursday evening or something, Thursday afternoon, although 64 mile per gust in New Mexico, even 66, so that's that extreme fire danger there, and does show in Colorado too, some areas in Arizona, some higher gusts in Idaho, Texas, so stay safe in those areas in Oklahoma. So Friday still shows spots of Texas, even to 66 mile per gust in New Mexico, spots of a few spots of the west, slightly higher, Illinois, in Indiana. So be aware. This goes still shows Sunday spots of Texas and New Mexico, some higher gusts, maybe spots on the west coast too. So Sunday shows still by later Sunday spots of the Midwest, but depends on the model. The GFS like totally nothing there, so it depends. But at least until Saturday, there'll be the higher gusts in the southwest and central areas from these storm systems. So be careful in those areas. And the icon is exceptionally extreme. The icon like to 75 mile per gust. So please be aware those areas. Don't know if the HER has something yet. It does have here, and shows some 64 mile per gust, 63. So stay safe in those areas. The HER has that snow as well, and that does have those storms there. So Thursday, but it doesn't start the storms until very late, which is kind of weird. So because now it's Wednesday, then Thursday, yeah, this clock here is in European time, but like 5 a.m. there is it's already night in the US. So it does have those storms in Iowa, Minnesota, and those areas. So yeah, be careful, stay safe. There's like the wind again here for spots of northern Mexico. So still shows like uh, those sargas, even to 70 km per gust in the Baja as well. close to 80. Does go there, especially like late Thursday, spots on northern Mexico, those higher gusts. And Thursday, Friday, the Europeans are very high gusts, those areas, northern mountains in Mexico, 205, 98 km per gust. So stay safe in those areas. Still show Saturday some gusts there in Mexico, and those areas in the Gulf might be more breezy as well. Spots of the Caribbean, especially the southern Caribbean, some higher gusts. And Sunday still shows some wind in the Gulf, more wind in the Caribbean, even the Turks and Caicos, more wind there. So beware. Still by Tuesday, the 22nd, shows more wind in those areas. So be aware. Uh, let's just say something here. Entonces, entre jueves y viernes va a haber viento muy fuerte norte de México de esta semana, día 17 y 18. Entonces, precauciones, estas zonas al norte de México, casi 100 kilómetros por hora las ráfagas el viernes por la tarde, y hay unos otros modelos de 86 y casi como 107 kilómetros por hora. Precauciones, y principalmente con el peligro de incendio, porque a este viento fuerte, más la baja humedad, puede ser unos incendios forestales muy peligrosos. Good, so stay safe there. Now, finally for Canada, does show those winds I already showed you in the beginning, but especially later Saturday, maybe northwestern territories, British Columbia, slightly gustier, and then this goes. Northern Nunavut might have some locally high gusts later Saturday into Sunday, the 19th and the 20th. So be careful, those winds there. Saturday, let's see if there will be snow. Yeah, I show snow here at the same time. So if it's windy plus snowy, please be careful there. Saturday and Sunday might have some low visibility and everything. So stay safe. So Sunday, this goes. Still shows Monday the 21st, spots of northwestern Nunavut, northwestern territories. So be careful. Later is too far, but still shows a thing or two. But the thing here is these potential strong gusts, spots of Nova Scotia and Quebec later in Sunday afternoon in Easter, the 20th. So does show in New Brunswick some high gusts in eastern Quebec, so, Nova Scotia as well, and even there in the US, spots of Maine and New Hampshire. So be aware. Monday still shows in Nova Scotia, some spots there, and even the Midwest again by Monday. And then this goes still shows Newfoundland and Labrador, spots Tuesday, but the GFS is kind of different, and the icon has like the thing is already in the middle of the Atlantic, so each model has a different kind of opinion, but that's the general consensus. So be aware, those areas, there's the snow here from the icon, 5 days, show spots of Quebec and Labrador, close to 30 centimeters, northern coast of Quebec, even to 58 centimeters next 5 days. Some snow in Ontario, a little bit in Ontario, spots of Manitoba, even to 20 centimeters, shows much of British Columbia, in the south, some in the north, especially in the mountains, and more like in Alberta, southern Alberta. And be aware, more northern Yukon. The European has something similar, more like central northern Yukon, more snow, and more northern Nunavut from those systems I showed you. So be aware of this snow here, and does show those areas in Alaska, still like the mountains, even to 68, 61 inches, spots southwestern Alaska to 37 inches to 22 inches of snow, more northern Alaska to 6, 7 inches, 2 inches. So be careful, those areas. Still shows southern Alaska to 34 inches next 5 days, those mountains 12 inches, 10 inches, and into Montana shows some 7 inches in the mountains to 17 inches next 5 days. possibly. There's the icon, it's to 12 inches, 19 inches, 12 inches. The GFS is kind of similar to, so be careful. Does have Colorado to 11 inches, spots of 11, 12 inches, some in Arizona, central Utah, and more spots of 5, 7 inches, some in California as well. So beware. The Europeans even showing Kansas 1 inch. That's so weird because it will be 90 degrees in Kansas tomorrow, but things change. That cold air mass behind it. But the other models just have there in Nebraska instead of Kansas, so some 6 inches, 6.2, and the GFS is sort of some in Nebraska and close to New Mexico too. But be aware, and that shows some in Michigan next 5 days, possibly. The European nothing in Michigan. The Europeans more Minnesota next 5 days and 7 inches, 4 inches, and a tiny bit in the northeast. So be careful those areas, and let's see if there's anything else important. There are some discussions here that might be good for the rainfall, but this is from Sunday, so yeah. But be aware, especially the winter storm severity index, those mountains, and stay safe. Be aware, those areas. They're still in the south, some minor heat risk from those temperatures. Still, especially southern Texas. Friday, Saturday, some moderate heat risk, and tomorrow, Thursday, some moderate. So yeah, be aware. Stay safe, especially the severe weather.